Quick video, man. This video is on the Source Debate League rules. And this video is for anybody that has a question about how Source Debate League, you know, what's the format and how we get down. So, very quick video, and many people have hit me up and they want to know how we structure our debates. Our debates are structured where it's more so about the information. It's not like Sonnet or Garfield or any other platform. It's about the information. It's about the arguments. It's not about religious favor or disfavor or atheism or Christianism or Hebrewism. It's about who has the best argument that day, no matter how anybody feels. And that's how we center around that. That's pretty much the focal point of our debate league. Now, it is structured. There are rules. So I'm going to go over the rules. Before I do that, I want to just promote our Elimination Chamber tournament that will be going down soon, right? We've got a lot of people, a lot of warriors that want to join this tournament, and we want to actually do this in a very tasteful and scholastic way and move from what the status quo is in this small niche community that we're in. So here it is here. You guys should be able to see it here on the screen, what we are promoting. And if anybody's interested, just hit me up, HebrewJedi@gmail.com. That's my email if you want to join or if you're interested in joining. The Source Debate League is presenting the Elimination Chamber tournament, and the winner of that tournament will win $500 cash prize. I was the winner of the last tournament. That's me in the middle there with the scholarship of a bullshit shirt with the heavyweight championship belt. The winner of this particular tournament will get a title shot for the heavyweight championship belt. You'll be able to take that belt from me if you're successful in winning. And then you will be the heavyweight Source Debate League champion. So $500 cash prize for the last man standing. But we do have rules to our debate. So real quick, I want to show you guys that we're structured here. And this is not just going to be some random rhetoric battles that you just go and say anything. There's actually rules that you have to play by, and here are the rules here. So I'm going to present them here. So the rules are as follows. So source rules, regulations, and source rules and regulations of our debate league here. Rule number one, all debaters must have a PowerPoint presentation. The lack thereof will result in a loss regardless of final judgment. So you got to have a PowerPoint presentation. There's no way around it, or you have to have a presentation. This, again, we are not supporting rhetoric battles, tongue wrestling battles. This is not what you have been are accustomed to on social media where you can just say anything. We want you to present your information. You know, I don't care how you look, what kind of hat you wear, or what kind of stylistic, lingo you got. We want to know if you can present your information. That's the biggest thing, presentation. Because the issue, we have a dearth in this community, or this niche community known as the Hebrew Israelite, Black Hebrew Israelite, Afrocentric, conscious, whatever you want to call it, community. There's a dearth. There's a severe lack of scholarship in this community. And it's because many of you guys are not showing your work. You got to show your work. And that's why rule number one is very important. You have to have a presentation. And if you don't have a presentation, you will lose. You will be awarded a L because we're not tolerating that, right? Rule number two, all debaters and judges should be picked at least a day prior to the date of the debate. So that's just to, make sure that we got everything locked in for your debate. We want all debaters and judges there at least a day before the assigned date. There's no confusion. We're not rushing. We're not trying to go out and find somebody last minute. Rule number three, if any debater leaves during the debate, it will result in an automatic loss If you leave, you decide to leave the StreamYard because you're upset, you don't like the way it's going, or maybe the other guy is whipping you intellectually, and you decide to leave, then you will be awarded allotted an L. That's a loss. Um, Rule number 4, each and every debate will be judged based on the information alone, not religiosity nor personal preference. So, again, this is to our judges. You're not there to debate on what side you think is right, or what side is Christian, what side is Hebrew Israelite, what side is atheist. You're there to debate on the information presented by both parties and which one had the strongest argument. That's it. If we catch you doing anything else, we're going to remove you as a judge. We're going to take that seriously, and we're not going to play with that because other platforms have that problem, and we don't want that here at the source. Um, it says here, number 5, any judge that shows any sign of bigotry or religious favor or disfavor will be disqualified on the spot. So if you say, "Oh, I hate all atheists," you can't be a judge because what if we have an atheist debater and we already know you have an established bias and you're not going to judge him fairly based on what he says, or an agnostic, or anybody, Islamist, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We don't want anybody showing bigotry or disfavor openly, what I'm saying, towards anybody, because then we can't trust your judgment. Rule number 6, all sources must have proper citations. Proper citation, meaning when you're in a debate, you have the presentation. That's rule number 1. You have to cite your sources. We got to know that these sources are real. We got to know that you're actually getting this information from somewhere and somebody. We got to be able to validate and verify that you guys are actually doing research to come to your conclusions and not just making something up out of thin air. We don't want no abracadabra scholarship. I create when I speak. We don't want that here. So rule number 6 is clear. All sources must have proper citations. Rule number 7, all judgments must be sent directly to the host prior to each judge giving an explanation for their judgment. And the reason the case, right? The reason why that's the case is that to prevent the judges from influencing another judge's judgment, right? So we don't want, let's say Xavier versus Lancaster debate. Xavier debates, and then one of the judges, they give a reasoning for Xavier winning. And the other judge had Lancaster winning, but since he heard Xavier, they changed their pick in the last minute. We want to avoid that by telling the judges to let us know who they thought won prior to them giving their judgment. They have to send that to the host. Tell the host exactly who they thought won. That way they have to stick to their pick, and they are not influenced by other judgments. Rule number 8, all 3 judges shall be from different perspectives and creeds. So long as you got 3 judges, that one could be an atheist, one could be a Christian, one could be an Islamist, one could be an atheist, agnostic, and Islamist. Long as there are 3 different separate creeds or separate belief systems or perspectives, that's what we want to look for, and that is to reduce bias. That's to reduce bias. That's to reduce and give a more accurate judgment, so we can have people that are judges that are not really involved with either party's belief system, right? We don't want all 3 judges to be Hebrew Israelites, and then we have a battle between the Hebrew Israelite and maybe Islamists. We don't want that to be the case. We want 3 judges with 3 different backgrounds, 3 different perspectives, so we can get this thing judged fairly. And we don't want to introduce bias. We want people to judge you guys based on your argument and your skill to do the argument and present the argument. We want the strongest argument to win that day, no matter how we feel about each side's perspective or their worldview. It's all about the argument. All right. So that's rule number 8. They have to be from 3 different perspectives or creeds, right? This will absolve any personal or religious bias from the judging system, and that's what we're trying to do here, right? Rule number 9, no shows will result in an automatic loss. So if you don't show up the day of and you don't try to reach out or nothing, you just flat out don't show, you get an L, you get a loss. So just please be punctual, be on time, let us know, hit us up, do what you got to do, Be a responsible adult to prevent that. Because if you don't show on the day of and we schedule and we did it promotions, we did promo runs and we got your name out there and we let people know that the debate was happening at this time at this particular date, and you decide not to show on the day of, we can't reach out to you, nobody can get in touch with you, that's a L. Rule number 10, once the premise is agreed upon during the preliminary, none of the debaters can alter it. So again, that's what preliminaries are for, which we're going to get to another rule that deals with that. Preliminaries are there to set the topic and the parameters of the debate, time rounds or whatnot. What type of question are you going to have? You have a normal Q&A or are you going to have the crossfire segment? Which one would you guys agree on? That's all during the preliminary. But once you agree on the premise and the subject that you guys are going to argue over, you can't change it. And this is why we want to do all our preliminaries live and record it so it's documented that you guys agreed on the premise. So I don't want to hear anything during the day of the debate that, actually, I don't want to debate whether Christmas is true. I want to debate. No, you agreed upon the in the preliminary. You and the person you are debating have agreed on the premise that cannot be changed after that's set in stone. All right. Rule number 11, all participants, hosts, judges, and debaters must be in the StreamYard at least 45 minutes prior to the start of the debate. And this is just to keep people punctual, man, and make it easier. Make this thing operate like a well-oiled machine. We want, let's say if the debate starts 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we want you guys there at 6:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. That way we can have all the judges there. Everything's going to be organized. Everything will run smoothly if we're all there 45 minutes early and we can start on time. That's the whole point. If we tell the people the debate starts at 7, it should not start at 7:30, should not start at 8, should not start at 8:30. This is to keep everyone punctual, right? And which is key. We want to do this in a professional manner. If we're going to do it in a professional manner, one thing that can ensure that is that everybody that's involved with that debate is there in the StreamYard, ready to go at 6:15. That way we can start if it's at 7, 45 minutes prior to the start of the debate. So rule number 12, preliminaries are for hammering out debate topics and agreements on the premise, setting up dates and times, discussing the length of the rounds. So that's what a preliminary is for. Okay. It's not a debate. It's to set up the parameters of the debate. Right. And again, once you agree on the premise and agree on the subject you guys are arguing, right? Whether you're affirming that or you're taking the negative, you cannot change that after that recorded day, after that recorded preliminary. There is no changing it. I don't want to hear people in the debate. Well, actually, I'm debating this, and you got an esoteric meaning. No, you need to lay the rules of engagement down during the preliminary. Again, preliminaries are for hammering out debate topics and agreements on the premise, setting up the dates and times, discussing the length of the rounds. Rule number 13, if a debater cuts off an opponent during their round, an additional minute for each infraction will be allotted to the victim of the interruption. And this is just to keep you guys cordial, keep you guys pretty much professional. If someone else is going in that round, there's no reason that your mic should be open and you should be speaking. None whatsoever. We will not tolerate that type of behavior. And the reason why we want to keep these debates fair and professional, right? And if you do that, cut somebody off in the middle of their round, right? That's going to add an additional minute to the opponent's round. So now you gave them a leverage over you because you couldn't control yourself, right? You couldn't be cordial. You couldn't show any decorum. With that being said, you will ultimately give the debate away, because if you keep doing that, now your opponent is going to have extra minutes to dive into their premise and dive into their argument while you look like a fool, and possibly have given that debater the advantage and possibly given them the win when you could just be quiet, let them go like an adult would, Let them say what they got to say, whether you think it's egregious or not, and let them continue and finish with their round. That's simple. Boom, then you go in. And even the suggestion was even made that there's a cutoff. If you do it 3 times, then you get booted. And again, we're doing all these things. We put rules in place, rules and regulations in place to stop a lot of the bad scholarship, the bad behaviors in the debate realm that we see. A lot of you guys are undisciplined. We're trying to bring discipline into this community. I know it's very hard, very much a very hard thing to ask from this community, but we will require it of you. Rule number 14, source debate standard format is as follows: 3 rounds with a Q&A segment or rapid fire session after the completion of the 3 rounds. And again, you have to discuss the length of the rounds. We usually do 15 minutes. I think that's enough time to get your information out there and explain things and break things out and rebuttal or what have you, right? We think that's enough time for you guys to get it out there, but you guys can adjust that time. We're not going to give hour rounds. You're not going to come up here and say, oh, I want an hour for each round. No, we're not doing that. We want these debates to happen in a timely manner. So we usually do 3 rounds, Q&A segment or a rapid fire session. Q&A segment is basically you guys have to decide answer and response. Basically, you can say, okay, I got a minute to give an answer. You got a minute to give a response. You can decide those things. Or you can do crossfire where you have 10 minutes each to just go back and forth with each other, just throwing out answers with no time regulations within 10 minutes, right? Again, we want to make these debates timely, right? We don't want to sit up here and have 6-hour, 8-hour debates. That won't happen. That defeats the purpose. We want it, within a time constraint so it can actually be reviewed and judged properly. And with that said, those are the rules and regulations of the Source Debate League. Any questions, to hit my email up, HebrewJedi@gmail.com, and hopefully we can get those answered. And again, if you're interested in joining the debate league, just hit my email up as well, and you have a chance to win the $500 in the 16-man tournament. Last man standing will be awarded allotted $500. All right. With that being said, let me just show the flyer one more time, and I'll let you guys enjoy your day. Source Debate League Elimination Chamber Tournament, $500 cash prize. And also you get a title shot from me. That's me in the middle with the belt. You're able to take that belt from me if you're successful in defeating me. So whoever wins has a title shot for the heavyweight championship. With that being said, you guys should be well informed on how things are, what's expected of you in our debate league, the rules. And guess what? In this debate league, the hosts are host. We're hosting. We're not debating. We're not sharing our opinions. We're there to host and moderate and make sure everything runs smoothly. That's it. Okay? I know a lot of these other leagues and these other channels, they don't run things like that. A lot of times you got to debate the host and the opponent. This is not Sonetta TV. This is not Garfield. This is not none of that. We are actually going to run this thing properly and professionally as possible. With that being said, man, I wish you all well. If you want to join, HebrewJedi@gmail.com, just hit me up in my email, and I'll give you the necessary steps you have to take to actually join. The roster is almost complete at this point and at this juncture, but at least you guys know the rules and what to be expected of you guys, of the judges. With that, I'm going to say peace, shalom, and all that good stuff, man. We out of here.